Okay, welcome back. So, basically what we have just now done is we have escaped from Helgen, and we have left with Hadvar. I can't remember his name for a second there. So, now we've got to go to Riverwood. Okay. Now, the only difference between going with Hadvar and going with Ralof is basically who you're attacking inside the caves and in the castle. Now, each person represents a different faction inside of the...
Listen, you should go to Solitude and join up with the Imperial.
As you can see here.
We could really use someone like you. And if the rebels have themselves a dragon,
You'll get a nice little
is the only one who can stop them.
thing here. Say, join the Imperial Legion. So whoever you do decide to go with is basically who you're fighting against inside the castle. Is the opposite faction. Now, you don't have to walk with the guy that you go with. You could just jump ahead and talk to the person.
Up there?
It also changes who you by the way, that's where you're going to next. It also changes who your contact is in Riverwood. Now with him it will be the blacksmith, which is his uncle, and with Ralof it will be the woodcutter, the person that owns the lumber mill. Now we're coming up to these guide stones up here. Now there are several guide stones. These are the first three that you run into. I'll have him explain to you what the guide stones are.
These are the Guardian Stones.
Or Guardian Stones.
3 of the 13 ancient.
Yeah, 13. That's the number I was looking for.
Skyrim's landscape. Go ahead, see for yourself.
So these guide stones, there's 13 of them. You can select a guide stone, and each guide stone will give you a benefit. Sometimes it's a power, sometimes it's a skill boost, or whatever. Now these three are your basic guide stones. Now your skills, I'll bring them up. Your skills are numerous. And like you see, I'm at level 1 right now. As you go through the game and do various things, such as cast a spell, like a cast a destruction spell, like flames. Alright, every time you do that, your skill points in that skill goes up. And when you're increasing a level, say like I go from destruction 15 here to 16, you get yourself a, well no, you get more experience, which will increase your level. Every time you go up a level, that's when you get a perk point. And when you get a perk point, you go into these little skill trees here, and you unlock these little perks, which give you little benefits in that skill, such as this one. Augmented Shock will do shock spells do 25% more damage. And the further up the skill tree it goes, the more beneficial they are. Expert level destruction spells for half magic. Disintegrate. Shock damage disintegrates targets for if their health is low. That sort of thing. Deep freeze. Damage paralyzes targets and the health is low. Master destruction. That sort of thing. And there's various other things, such as... So anyways, what I was trying to get at is that the skills are also grouped into 3 different groups. You've got your magic skills, which includes all the magic skills. So alchemy, illusion, conjuration, destruction, restoration, alteration, and enchanting. Then you've got like your use your crafting skills. You got your fighting skills. I think that would be smithing, heavy armor, block, two-handed, one-handed, arch, and two-handed and one-handed. Then I think you got your sneaking skills, which is your archery, light armor, sneak, lockpicking, pickpocket, speech. Okay, those are your thieving skills, that sort of thing. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm level 1 right now, so these are all my skills at my starting level. So, like I said, like 25 for conjuration, right? I think is actually my lowest. Almost all of them minimum start at a 15, such as here. You'll get bonuses based off of, I probably started at a 15 there, but I used one-handed weapons so often that it increased. Sneak increased a little bit because I did that one little attack, so that put me up 1 level. Now the reason that some of these skills are higher than normal is based off of your racial selection. So as a Breton, you've got bonuses in certain skills. I got bonuses in certain skills, especially in conjuration. So instead of a 15 conjuration, starting with this 15 conjuration, which is what you get most, I got a 25. Plus I also got like a 20 in restoration, alteration, and then, you know, illusion, alchemy, speech, that sort of thing. Those were my racial bonuses for my skills. Now I didn't use any real speech activities in that tutorial, but it's still high enough. Now there's one other thing I wanted to... Oh no, wait. There wasn't anything else about it I want to say about that. Oh, also you've got on the bottom in the skill tree menu here, you've got your 3 main attributes. Your magicka, which is on the left, which is the blue bar. You got your health in the middle, which is a red bar, and the stamina on the right, which is your green bar. You start off, no matter what race you do, you start off with 100. Now my magicka is green and at 130 because I'm actually wearing an item that is increasing my magicka level. That's that novice hood. So it increases my magicka by 20 points. So we'll go into this again a little bit more after I actually get a perk point. So I can go in here and actually gain some perk points. I'll probably do destruction or conjuration at first, or maybe even one-handed weaponry, because if you go over one-handed weaponry, I think the first one is do 20% more damage. That's one. And then there's also light armor, which increases my armor stuff. Sorry, that's my phone. That'll increase my light armor. If this is important, I'll leave it with voicemail. Alright, so moving on. Alright, so basically back to the guide stones. Now what these 3 particular guide stones do is they will give me a bonus on experience in one of those 3 skill groups, such as this one, which is the Thief Stone. So those under the sign of the Thief will learn all stealth skills 20% faster. So you get a bonus on your stealth skills. Those are like your sneak, your speech, archery, that sort of thing. I'm not going to do that. And the Mage Stone is similar. 20% faster on magic skills. So those are your destruction, conjuration, enchanting, that sort of thing. And then you've got the Warrior Stone. Those are your combat skills. One-handed, two-handed, heavy armor, that sort of thing. So we're not going to do that. So right now I'm just going to do Magic Stone.
Mage, eh? Well, to each his own. It's not for me to judge.
Now he does sort of have this little comment based off of what you choose. So if you chose that, he would seem favorable. This one he's sort of okay. You take this one, he's a bit surprised. His reaction is a bit of surprise. So I was like, okay, whatever. So let's move on. So you come down here, you basically come down to the river, follow the road, and he'll lead you into Riverwood. And once you get to Riverwood, he's going to do this nice little long plot exposition stuff goes on. And after that, then you're on your own.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, we've already earned your pardon.
And technically speaking, as soon as you left that cave back there, you're on your own. You don't have to follow him. You can go off on other tangents if you want. You can go off on other missions. You can just wander around and find things to kill. You can do whatever. As soon as you leave that cave, the open world is now open to you, and you don't have to do any of the quest lines. You can choose which ones you want to follow.
I'm glad you decided to come with me. We're almost to Riverwood.
But I at least tend to try to at least do the main quest line first. All the way through. This is odd because normally, come down this road, we're attacked by wolves up there. 2 wolves, and they didn't attack us. It's strange. I can't remember. It's this one. Just sprint.
Things look quiet enough here.
So normally what I tend to do is I will do the main quest line up to the point that you get summoned by the Greybeards. And then I will actually tend to go out and wander around, do other things, go on other quest lines like the Companions or the Mage College, or go to find certain things that I want to do. I haven't decided what I'm going to do once I get to that point, but I'm definitely going to play along this quest line until, at the very least, I take on the first dragon. Okay, and I absorb and get the first shout. I might go on and do the Greybeards, all the Greybeard stuff, so I can get that full set of Unrelenting Shout, Dragon Shout, because I tend to like that one. That's one of my more favorite ones. This is the more iconic Skyrim Dragon Shouts too, in my opinion. It was what was advertised in the trailers, which was so popular. So unfortunately right now you got to do like plot exposition and stuff like that. You can go around the house, but whatever you do, don't accidentally steal their food or anything before you can, because then you'll get like a little wanted level. And you'll be minor.
We've been so worried about you. Come, you two must be hungry. Sit down and I'll get you something to eat.
I'm actually going to sit down.
Now then, boy. What? The big mystery. What are you doing here looking like you lost an argument with a cave bear? I don't know where to stop. You know I was assigned to General Tullius.
So I'm going to actually do this. I am actually going to steal something very minor, like this bread right here, and you'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
You are drunk.
See, one bounty added to Whiterun. So now there's a bounty out on my head for 1 gold piece. So if I run into any guards, there's a random chance that the guard would recognize me and my bounty and say, and say that you're a criminal, blah blah blah, and then you'll be presented with some options. But that's a minor little thing, and depending on the crime that you do, would increase the bounty and increase the reaction that they would do to you. If it gets above a certain point, the only thing they're going to be doing to you is trying to kill you. But we'll see how long it takes before one of the guards recognizes me.
We need your help.
I won't find any guards probably until I get either close to Whiterun or actually in Whiterun. So one of the reasons why I take Hadvar is because that means that Alvor here will be able to help me. And he has stuff that you can take, especially smithing supplies. So I'll take some of the more useful stuff, especially stuff that I can sell to gain gold. So amethyst tunic is useless. I usually don't go for the food because it's only like 1 point of health or 2 points of health, so it's not really that big of a deal. Iron ingots, lockpicks are always useful. Potions are definitely useful. Go through healing potions like crazy. Ring of minor alteration. Now, if you don't use it, you can always sell it, and you can sell that too, or create a ring of your own. All right.
The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon on the loose. Riverwood is defenseless. We need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun.
So he sends you off on your first mainline quest mission.
For me. I'll be in your debt.
So you can just leave now if you want, or you can go through. This is where you can get some plot expositions. Like, do you have any supplies? He says yes, but you can take what you can't, what I can spare, but do it within reason. Gives you directions to Whiterun. Tells you a little bit about the Jarl. Can he use your forge? Can you use your forge? And he says yes. What can you tell me about Riverwood? And he's basically kind of one of the community leaders. And then what do you think about the war? It's basically he's saying it's a big, huge waste. So we're just gonna let it go.
Did you really see a dragon? What did it look like? Did it have big teeth?
Hush, child. Don't pester your cousin.
You two make yourselves at home.
Let's do something like this. What time is it here? 6:20 p.m. Okay, so we might as well. We're going to do some resting because I want to be here about 8 o'clock. Okay, so when you come to a bed, here's the thing with resting. When you come to a bed, you click on a bed,
Can I help
especially if it's a bed that you own, you'll get more of a benefit. But if you sleep in a bed, so you click on the bed and you say rest for how long? Let's say we'll do it for 13 hours. Okay, because that will bring it up to about, do it for 14 hours. 2 hours, 6:22, 7:22, 9:23. Okay, so about 14 hours. We're gonna rest. So when you rest, it advances time quickly. Excuse me. It advances time quickly, and it'll give you an added benefit as well. You'll see it pop up when we wake up.
It's nice to be
You
back in the friendly
awake
spot.
feeling rested. Now, what does that
Listen,
do, do you
I'm going to lay
wonder?
up here for a while. You can make your own way to Solitude from here. I'd recommend heading to Whiterun, just down the road.
Now, he
from
really
here.
wants you to join the
From there,
Imperial
you can
Legion.
take a carriage to Solitude.
Yeah. I will eventually join the Imperial Legion. So, if you're wondering what conditions you have going on with you, I mean, there are beneficial conditions that you pick up, and there are non-beneficial conditions that you can get, such as diseases and stuff like that. You go over to your magic menu. You scroll down to what's called active effects. Okay, you open up your active effects, and you'll see everything that is affecting you beneficially and poorly. Okay, if it's white like these are, means it's working well for you. Okay, so I got a novice hood, which is increasing my magic up by 30 points. Okay, I've got resist magic because I'm Breton, so I get a 25% resistance to my magic. Rested, all skills improve 5% faster for 8 hours. So for the next 8 hours of game time, I'm getting a 5% increase in the amount of in skill points that I earn. Okay, that stacks with the Mage Stone. So for my magic skills, I'm getting a 25 total % boost in increase in skill points. Okay, so that will stack. Now, if you are using a bed that you own, like in your own house, I think that goes from a 5% to a 10%. And if for some reason you're sleeping with your spouse, which we'll get into later, how you get a spouse, I think it goes from a 10% to a 15% or even a 20%. I don't know, I'm not that sure about the numbers yet. But basically, if it's a bed that you own, it's higher. And if you're in a bed that you own with your spouse, it's even higher than that. That's the most that you can get. Okay. Now, the only time that this doesn't happen is if you get something called lycanthropy. If you're a werewolf, which I usually tend to do, if you're a werewolf, resting doesn't happen to you. You never get the resting condition at all because you're bestial blood. Okay. The only way for you to get that is for you to get rid of the werewolf aspect. And there's certain ways you can get rid of being a werewolf. We'll go into that quest line on how to become a werewolf a little bit later. Okay? And I don't want to give it away to anyone who doesn't know the storyline. Although, if you're watching this, you've probably played this game before. So let's move on. So now you are relatively free. And now you kind of have... Well, you really have 3 options. Okay? First option is you can just go off and explore on your own. Now, like I said, right now, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go maintain on the main storyline at least until the dragon, I defeat the first dragon, or at least until I finish the Greybeard's quest. I haven't quite decided yet. I'll probably find that out once. I'll probably decide that once I defeat the dragon. So that's option 1 that you can do right now. Option 2. Now, option 2 is when you're going along this main quest line, you can do one of 2 things. One, you can go straight to Whiterun from here. You basically go down this road, follow it, cross the river, and you make your way over there. Okay. Once you get there, you're going to meet the Jarl. He's going to give you this quest to find this item, which is going to bring you back to these ruins that you saw up on top of that mountain. Okay. Option 3 that you can do, and this is what I usually tend to do first, is you can go into this door here, which is a store called the Riverwood Trader, and you'll see a little storyline going on.
Well,
This kind of saves you a little bit of time, in a way.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking.
So you come in here, and these two are brother and sister. They're Imperials. They're brother and sister. They run this trading shop in here, and they basically had a item stolen from their shop.
Some sense into my pig
All right.
brother.
Had an item stolen from their shop, and you say, "Hey, I can get it back for you." What he's going to do is he's going to send you up to those ruins.
The Riverwood Trader.
Okay.
Everything you,
Something happened.
yeah.
He's going to send you up to those ruins that the Jarl's going to send you to anyways, to get the item. So you're going to go to the dungeon anyways,
One thing.
and
An ornament, solid gold in the shape of a dragon.
you're going to go to the dungeon anyways and just complete the dungeon. And when you get to the White Run and talk to the Jarl, he's going to say, "Go to this place and get this item." It's like, "Oh, you mean this item here?" It's like, "Oh, hey, okay." And you'll see that cinematic a little bit later. I could help you get the claw back.
You could?
Could.
I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back.
Fair enough. I can do that.
Get those thieves. You
All right.
show them.
Let's see what they got
I think I have a few
for soul.
old spell
So
books
now he does have some
around.
spells that you can buy. I think one of them is Frost, which is one of those 3 elemental spells that I don't have yet. So basically, items above the divider line belong to the vendor. Items below belong to you. But to buy or sell an item, select it and press A. So these are his stuff up here. This is your stuff down here. Okay. So if you're looking for spells at any vendor, it's under books. Okay. So the various different spells. I mean, clairvoyance. When you open up your quest menu and you select a quest, you can cast clairvoyance, and it's going to show a visible trail in front of you, that's showing you the direction to the next point in that quest line. Okay, Frostbite is the one I'm looking for. It's worth 143 gold. I only have 35 right now. Fury, that's an illusion spell. 6 will attack anything nearby for 30 seconds. Lesser Ward, that's sort of a shield that protects you from spell attacks. Oak Flesh is basically sort of like a force field that increases your armor. And Raise Zombie, which is always useful. Reanimates weak dead body to fight for you for 60 seconds. So if you run into a corpse, you can animate it, and it'll follow you around and fight for you. So I'm going to see what else has he got. Arrows, dagger, sword, mace. Nothing really of importance. Yeah, you got a wooden sword. That comes into effect after you adopt a kid. We'll get into that later. Ring of Minor Deft Hands. Alright. So let's see if there's anything we can sell him. I mean, for one thing, the amethyst. Sell the amethyst. Now all of these prices change based off of your speech skill. If your speech skill is higher, you'll get better prices for the stuff that you're asking for. So I mean, foot wraps is useless. You gotta get rid of it anyways. We didn't get anything from it. Fur boots, that's 2. Fur gauntlets, that's 2 each. Got 2 of them. Hide shield, I think I'll keep for a while. Imperial light helmet is 12 gold. I don't think I'm gonna get enough. I'll get rid of the iron grade sword. It's just added weight. Keep the ingots. Sell the swords. Sell the warhammer. I might have enough actually. Keep the bow. Keep the robes. Now you gotta keep track of how much gold he has. Now he's currently at 679 gold. Because you're basically selling him stuff. His gold is going down. 130. He'll buy it for 139. I don't really use alteration too much, at least not right now. So I sell him that. I should get a good chunk. So I'm now up to 283. Silver garnet ring. I'll sell that for 53. The curios, sell that. The book is basically 4. I want to keep the book for now. So now I got 344. It should be enough for me to at least get the frostbite. So I'm at 201. Is it enough to get the raised zombie? Yes, it is. What about armor? What kind of armor is there? Amulet and Julianus. Foot wraps. My foot wraps. Hide armor. I don't like the look of the hide armor. Looking for armor mainly. Iron armor. Now that's heavy armor. Now, like I said before, I tend to like to use light armor, not heavy armor. Iron gauntlets. So these are all heavy armor pieces. Necklaces, novice robe of illusions, which is pretty expensive. Restoration, minor, ring of minor deft hands. Magic items are usually, the enchanted items are usually much more expensive than the regular stuff. So armor's fine. I didn't like the weapons that they got, so I wanted to go for more of the spells. Okay. Oak flesh might have been useful too, but we'll get that next. We can come back because we gotta come back and turn in
Till next
later.
time.
So this is your plan, Lucan?
Yes.
So she's gonna basically say, "Dude, brother, you're an idiot.
Oh, really?
You're not gonna
Well,
help
I
him
think
out?"
Your new helper here needs a
Okay.
guide.
So she says she's gonna guide you out of town. You don't really have to listen to her. She's just gonna walk you out to the edge of town and say, "Hey, go that way." So you don't need her. You've got me. So I could do this thing on how to do armoring increases, but we're not going to do that. We're going to get into some combat right now. We'll do that when we get back.
Here, though. The mountain just over the
It's not that important. You know, she's doing a whole bunch of plot exposition, talking about what happened and, hey, go this way. So you just go down this road, cross the bridge. Okay. Now, if you were to go onto Whiterun, which you can still do now if you wanted to, you cross this bridge, and you go down that road right there. That's the road down towards Whiterun. Alright? The White Run is down that way. But we gotta go up this way. Okay, so you just head up the mountain. This trail leads you all the way up to the ruins. Now we should be attacked by some wolves up here. There they are. At least one wolf, if not two. Oh, I forgot something. Yeah, we gotta head back to town. Well, actually, this would be a perfect time to demonstrate fast travel, actually. So, to fast travel, you can go back to any place that you've been to before. So, we've been to two locations. We've been to Helgen and we've been to Riverwood. Okay, so you go down to your map. It brings up the map of the areas that you've been to. Now, the spots that we'll show you are basically the hold capitals, but since you've never been there, they're grayed out. And then there's Whiterun there. Okay, but the white spots are the places that you've been to. So the white spots are the places you can fast travel to. Now you can't fast travel to anywhere if there's an enemy nearby, so you got to make sure the area is clear of enemies. I've gone to the Guardian Stones and Helgen and Riverwood. Now I want to go back to Riverwood for a reason. I want to get my first follower. So you can fast travel to Riverwood, click on it, pops up a menu, say yes, no, place a marker. Fast travel to Riverwood, yes. Okay? And basically you pop back to the entrance to Riverwood. Now, the first follower that you get, that you can potentially get, is over here. He tends to wander around a bit, but he works at the lumber mill. Now, it's this guy right here. Okay, he's a wood elf. Feindal.
Maybe not.
So basically,
enough, I suppose.
he's saying that he has this girl that, you know, he wants,
He's a bard.
that
so
he's in
he
love
says.
with, and he's got
Occasionally,
this
he finds time to do his job at the
competition,
mill.
I guess you can say.
Thinks his ballads and an intelligent, beautiful.
So
woman
basically,
like her
in
wouldn't
order for
fall
you to
that
get a follower to
nonsense.
follow you, you basically need to do something for them first.
I've been
Okay.
thinking. Maybe
Now for
Camille
him,
needs
he
a
wants
little
you
help
to
seeing
deliver
Sven
a
for what
letter
he
that
is.
he's written,
Could you give her this letter and say it's from Sven?
saying it's from
I think I
Sven
matched
to
that Nord's
her,
lack of cleverness perfectly.
and it's supposed to make it sound like he's
Very
kind of a jerk. So it would basically turn her against Sven, and then that will make him grateful to you, and he will, in exchange, he'll give you some money and he'll be your follower. So basically, the woman that he's talking about was Camilla, the woman that was the sister of the guy who sent you up to the ruins in the first place. So we go back to the River Trader. Hopefully she's come back by now. Yep, there she is. You just walk up to her.
You're a strapping
Now,
young man.
here you have
Don't be a stranger.
a choice. You can actually say, you can choose either Sven or Feindal to be your follower. And then basically it's like, if you lie, saying, going along with the scheme, Feindal will be your follower and Sven will hate you. If you tell the truth, then Sven will be your follower and Feindal will hate you. Now, I'll usually go with Feindal. I want to stay with Feindal because he's more useful, in my opinion. Mainly because he can train you in archery. We'll get to that in a moment. So I have a letter for you from Sven. Lie.
Another poem, I bet. He does know how to make a girl blush. What's this? If that oaf thinks all I'm going to do is stay in that filthy house of his and clean, You can tell Sven that he already has a mother. I'm not speaking to him anymore.
So basically the plan worked. Now remember, you walked up there and you said, you look like a strapping young man. Alright. Basically, if you recover the claw for them, you can actually come back to them. After you talk to a priest of Mara, which is in another city, and you can come back to them and you can actually ask her to marry you. And she can be your wife and live in your house and whatnot.
Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose.
Alright. So
I
you
appreciate
basically
your help.
say, hey,
Please,
our plan
take this.
worked.
Some gold I've saved up from working at the mill.
So he'll give you some money, 25 gold, yay. And you can walk up to him and say, follow me, I need your help.
Lead the way.
Okay, so he'll drop what he's doing and he'll follow you. And then he'll fight with you. Now, he can die. Now, there's certain mods that you can get that will prevent them from dying. If you directly attack them, especially if you hit them with like a really powerful spell, like through collateral damage, or if you accidentally shoot them in the head with a bow, with a powerful enough attack, they will die. Now, they won't die in combat from enemies. What will happen is they'll sort of like kneel down and just sort of like, not so much pass out, but just sort of kneel down. And then the enemy will leave them alone and start attacking you. Okay. So you kind of got to be careful with followers if you don't have a mod that will prevent them from dying. There's also an ability that you can use that you get through one of the DLCs that will prevent them from dying based off of your actions. Although I'm not sure if it really works. I'm kind of the opinion it probably doesn't. So I would tend to go with a mod to prevent that from happening. I always find it annoying when one of my followers dies, especially since they've been with you for a long time and you're emotionally invested in their well-being. And you gotta go back to the last save file you got and start over again, and it's all annoying. But I try not to have my followers die. A lot of times it comes to the point where I just go do a mission without the follower with me. So now we're coming up on this guard tower. There's some more bad guys up here. It's a good chance to practice my archery skills. So let's see if we can. Oh, I didn't favorite the bow. Let's do that. I thought I did. Okay. I think he's leaning up against the tree over there. Give it a try. Some practice with my aim. Yeah, I missed him. But he realized that something was happening. So you see how the eye, or the HUD, sort of changed shape? It means he's detected something and he's looking for you, but you're still hidden. Doesn't know where you're at. Got him. Got one of them. Have a better idea. And now you're detected. So once the eye opens up, then you're detected. He sees, there you are. So I'm going to attack you now. That sort of thing. Die. Now Feindal is a very good archer. He's actually better than you are. At least for right now. Now, you can actually have him train you to increase your archery skill. Studded armor. What's my armor? Is a 25. His is also a 25. Steel war axe. A little bit more. I think it's a little bit more damage. we'll take it and equip it. You can have him train you in archery, and you can train. He'll train you up to level 50 in archery, skill level 50 in archery, before he can't train you anymore. That's as high as he'll go, and then you can have to go find someone else to train you if you want to go higher, or just do archery stuff. Now, there are different types of classes of weapons. You got bladed weapons, you've got axes, and you've got basically hammers. Each one has a different sort of attack speed. Your fastest ones are your bladed weapons. Okay, and then I think it's axes, and then your blunt weapons like hammers and maces. Okay. So this axe is actually quicker than the mace I had. Okay. And also one-handed weapons are quicker than two-handed weapons. But two-handed weapons do more damage. So the slower the weapon is, usually the more damage it does. But the slower it is. One-handed weapons are faster than two-handed weapons. Two-handed weapons are do more damage than one-handed weapons. So I can take this. 24 armor. Also incredibly heavy. I'm going to leave it. Like I said, I don't go for the heavy armor. And I try to manage my weight, my carry weight, as much as possible. And I know some people would they'll just take everything. Why aren't you taking everything? It's like, well, I don't want to be weighed down with stuff. Then all of a sudden now you're dropping shit. Pardon my French. You're dropping stuff all over the place because you're too heavy. So I'll go for like the really high value stuff, like the ruby right there. And the useful stuff like the lockpicks. You always seem to run out of lockpicks every time. But I'll leave the more mundane stuff. It's like, but if you got a whole bunch of stuff, you just sell it all. I'm like, yeah, and then you run out of room and run out of weight, So, but that's not the ruins that we're going towards. That's just a watchtower on the outskirts. The ruins we're going to are up here. Around the corner and up there. As you can see, as I was sprinting, my stamina decreases as I sprint up. Now, sprinting decreases your stamina, as do power attacks. Now, I'll try to do a power attack if my stamina increases against one of these targets. If I get close enough, though. I know there's a couple of archers, and there's a melee guy. So hold down the attack button that does that power attack. You saw my stamina go down a lot when you do power attacks. See, I accidentally hit Feindal. If I do that too often, he will actually take damage and die. Kill cinematic. So like, as I'm using each one of these types of things, like the attack with the axe, that will be one-handed weapon skill. The destruction magic against a target, that's your destruction magic skill. Every time I use those things, those skill points are increasing they're increasing. I'm getting more experience in that skill to a point to where that skill will increase by 1 level. Now you can have 2 options here. Sometimes I'm not that sneaky, but I'm a little bit sneaky. This is a good opportunity to practice your sneaky skill, especially since Feindal with you is rather stealthy as well. Okay, this is a good opportunity to practice your stealth attacks and stuff like that. So you can come up here and listen in on their conversation. And then you can do a little stealth attack from the back. They're just leveled up, and I'll take care of that in a second.
Time to end this
Die, dang it. Ah, just go with the old-fashioned spot. Let's do some sparks this time. gold. Sith on her. Just go all Sith on her. Alright. Gold. Let's get some arrows, because I used quite a bit of it. That's the other guy that I killed. There were some other corpses back there, but I'm just going to let them go. Gold. That's it. Now, no, this box. Yep. I'll do some more lockpicking. Oh, right on. Right off the bat. Then you have to move the lockpick. Amethyst, gold, healing potion, silver necklace. We'll take hide boots. We'll leave. Okay, a couple things are now available to happen now. Alright, so perks. We just leveled up, which means we got a perk. Okay, so a few things will happen when you level up. So you go up to the skill thing where it says level up. Now you can increase, leveling up. When your level increases, you must choose to increase your health, magic, or stamina. You can also select new perk at this time or save it for later. Available perks are highlighted in each constellation. Okay. So now it's going to make you choose magicka, health, or stamina. Okay. So I tend to do a more balanced approach. I tend to spread it out. As a spell sword. So I tend to just go magicka, health, and stamina. Magicka, health, and stamina. Magicka, health, and stamina. That's how I tend to do it. Okay. Alright. Now, like I said, you can get items that will increase your stats and stuff like that, such as my hood, which is increasing it by 30 points. So I'm actually going to use the perk point that I got to increase, spend a perk in conjuration for right now. So you basically go into the skill, find the skill that you want, and you put the up button, and you can look at all the perks that are available and stuff like that. But they're only available based off the skill level in the skill and whether you got the prerequisite perks unlocked already. So, like for instance, Mystic Binding, you have to have level 20 in Conjuration, but I can't get Mystic Binding yet because I haven't picked Novice Conjuration. So once Novice Conjuration is picked, then the others on this level here will unlock. So those two down there, Mystic Binding and Conjuration Dual Casting, will unlock. Okay, so I have to pick this one if I want to unlock the other ones. So basically this is just going to make it cheaper to summon. You clicked it, hit OK, boom. As you can see, 3 perks now are unlocked. Now I have the skill requirements. My skill is at 25, so these 3 perks I can choose. However, I don't have the perk points now. Okay? So that's how that works. Now another thing that we can do, and I forgot to do it before, I didn't use the books that I had, so I spell Tomb Frostbite, do that, and Raise Zombie. Now I'm going to put Raise Zombie and Frostbite. Why not Frostbite too? That could be useful too. Conjure Familiar and Raise Zombie, put it in the favorites list, and then I'm going to do Raise Zombie. I'm going to turn this guy into a zombie. Now he'll only follow you for about probably 30 seconds to about a minute, fight for you that long, and then he'll just turn to ash. If he's too low, if he's too high of a level, that spell won't work, so you have to use a higher leveled Raise Zombie spell. Now make sure if you're going to do that, don't loot the body of weapons, because if you do, he's not going to have a weapon on him. He's just going to attack the targets with their fist. So since he's got a limited time before he turns to ash, I'm just sort of rushing through here and not really looting anything. Trying to get into some combat so he can be useful before, you know, he dies. Now when you summon something, you can only summon one thing at a time. So I passed several other corpses on the way in that I could have summoned, and if I did summon them, then they would, the old zombie would turn to ash and the new zombie would take its place. So I want him to come in here. So zombie, take him. So like I said, I guess he's not. See, time ran out on the zombie, so he died. Turned to ash. How almost hit. I didn't hit the dude. There. He is now down. I can summon him up too if I wanted to, but we're not going to do it. We're going to leave it. Ah, torches. These can be useful. Now, I mean, that's basically the light source. Now, in certain caves, it can get a bit dark. Now, here's a little trick that I figured out. Another thing with followers, and I'll do the trick and tell you about it, followers. With regards to weight, you can only carry based off of whatever your stamina is. Right now I'm currently set at 300 pounds. If you have extra items and you're above weight and you want to keep these items, you can have your follower carry the stuff for you. So, go down to where I need to trade some things with you.
What do you want me to carry?
Basically opens up the menu and you can see what he's carrying. You can take his stuff, like for instance, I can take his hunting bow, which does a little bit more damage than the bow I have right now. And then he'll get another bow, or I can give him my longbow or whatever. But you can have him carry stuff for you. Now the trick is, if you don't want to worry about carrying around a torch and having to equip it and unequip it and stuff like that, you can have your follower hold it. And so I'm going to give him the torch. And in dark situations, outside of combat, he'll actually equip the torch and he will be a portable light source. So it's a little bit useful, like especially when he's near you. So, but I think it's only in certain dark situations. Okay, so when you're inside these dungeons, there are certain puzzles you gotta solve. Okay, now for instance, I've got a gate here with a lever. Okay, I got these various little plaques around here. Now I'm going to set it off. I'm going to pull the lever to try to open the gate, and you'll see what happens. Basically, it shoots out these darts. Now I'm poisoned right now, which means I'm losing my health, but it'll go away eventually. Okay, so we got to find, and the gate didn't open. So I'm taking damage, and the gate didn't open. So how do we figure this out? Well, the way is you got to do the combination. You got to figure out the combination here. So you do the combination with these pillars. Now, usually when you spot these pillars, there's usually a hint on what the combination is. And in this case, it's pretty straightforward. There's the plaques for the combinations. This plaque fell down. It used to be right up there. So the combination is snake, snake, whale. Okay, so now it's set at eagle, whale, eagle. So we go set it to the snake, set it to the snake, set it to the whale. Snake, snake, whale, snake, snake, whale. Now the gate should open without the trap being set off. Sure enough, it did. Good. Now, I mentioned before skill books before. Now, here's one of the first skill books that you'll run into. This one right here. Now, you can never really tell. There are some mods that are out there where you equip the mod and skill books that you have not read will sort of like glow purple. I've used that before, and it is rather useful. Like I said, I'm doing mod free right now. Now, this is a skill book. This will increase, I think, my sneak or my pickpocketing skill. I can't remember which. Now, it'll only happen once. If you find this book again somewhere else out in the world and you read it, it's not going to increase your that skill again. Okay, so all you have to do to have the increase is just open it. Boom. Pickpocket increased to 16. Okay. Thief by Revan. Now you can take it, you can leave it. I'm going to leave it. Either way, you've got the benefit. So healing, chest, amethyst, gold, lockpick, useful items. Now, soul gems. We'll get into soul gems a little bit later. But you find these things, no matter what you got, grab them. They are incredibly useful. You find a soul gem, no matter what level soul gem it is, grab it. We'll get into soul gems a little bit later once we get to something that we can actually use as soul gems, which is going to be at the end of the dungeon. One of the first items I'll use. Oh, I've contracted ataxia. Okay, I've got a disease now, so I'll give you an example of what the special effect looks like. The active effects. A bad active effect. So as you can see right there off the bat, grabs your attention. Ataxia is a disease. Since I got it from those giant rats, it's harder for me to pick locks and pickpockets, which I really don't do too much of. I don't pickpockets that often. And picking locks I've never really been good at anyways. Now the way to get rid of that is using a potion is one way. Another way is finding an altar to one of the one of the gods, and clicking it. You know, even the Daedra altars as well. We're not going to find one of those. Or if you use a potion of cure diseases, which I don't have, so I'm just going to have to live with it for right now. Now this is a scroll right here. Now, basically a scroll is a spell on a piece of paper. It's basically a one-shot spell. You use it once and you can't use it again. So that was a fireball spell. Fireball is a pretty decent mid-level spell. It does a lot of damage. You can equip it to your hand just like you would a normal spell. And you use it once and then it's gone. Here's some poison. This is a weak paralysis poison. Now with poisons, what you can do with poisons, you grab it and you can put it on your weapon. Okay, and it will put that benefit on that weapon for a certain period of time. Now you can hear the guy in the background searching for help. Now there's a spider web in the way. You gotta break your way through. You can either use your axe or you can use your spell to blast your way through. Okay, you see the guy in the distance. He's webbed up. Alright, now I'm going to use that poison to sort of show you the benefits of it. So you go over here, you find the poison, which I believe is in potions. Okay, weak paralysis poison. Now what that does is, target is paralyzed for 3 seconds. So you basically use and it coats your weapon with the poison. Okay, so let's do it. So he's paralyzed for a couple seconds there. Okay. Now I should probably... Yep, frostbite venom too. You can do that too. Blood freezing poison that does 5 points of damage to health and stamina for 4 seconds. That could be useful.
Over here. You did it. You
killed it.
Now cut me down before anything else.
Now this was the leader of all those guys that were alive in the dungeon that you killed on the way in here. Where is the golden claw? This is the guy that actually stole the golden claw from the store.
Yes, the claw. I know how it works. The claw, the markings, the door in the Hall of Stories. I know how to... Help me down and I'll show you. You won't believe the power the Nords have hidden there. Sweet breath of arcade, thank you.
Cut him down.
It's coming loose. I can feel it.
Now I'm just going to let him go. Watch what happens. He basically betrays you. So he runs off. You chase him down. You can kill him right off the bat. Do this, grab this. But I just like the justice of this. He runs off in this direction, down in here. And he wakes up the Draugr. Don't like the looks of this. So he wakes up the Draugr. The Draugr, he attacks the Draugr. They attack him and kill him. Yeah, he's dead. So now you got to deal with the Draugr. Which is fine. It's easy to do. I'm going to actually use the poison again. Whoops. Used the wrong one. Okay. Oh well. Kill cinematics. Nice. Alright, let's see what they got. Some gold. Sword. Battle axe. More gold. Iron shield. Steel arrow. Gold. Ancient Nord war axe. War axe. About the same damage that I got. Alright. Now, it's incredibly important, if you're going to progress in this dungeon, that you make sure you loot this guy because at some point if you don't have this item, the golden claw, which is what you're looking for anyways, you can't progress. And the reason is this. He mentions it in his journal, and every once in a while you'll find a journal or a book or something that gives you a useful hint on what the heck is going on wherever you're at. Alright, or it'll give you like a quest line, that sort of thing. So it's like my fingers are trembling, the golden claw is finally in my hands, and with it the power of the ancient Nordic heroes. That fool Lucan Valerius has no idea that his favorite store decoration was actually the key to Bleak Falls Barrow. Now I just need to get to the Hall of Stories and unlock the door. Legend says there is a test that the Nords put in place to keep the unworthy away, but that when you have the golden claw, the solution is in the palm of your hands. Bum, bum, bum. Rather dramatic. Alright, whatever. Moving on. Let's go. Alright. When you're going through dungeons, you gotta make sure you look out for traps. Now, you saw that oil trap back in the dungeon in Helgen. That's one thing. This is another one. You see this gate right here with the spikes, and there's this little trip plate. Okay? I'm gonna set it off. It's gonna hurt. Boom. Okay? If you're not careful and you don't pay attention, these things will happen. You'll hit a trip plate, and either a gate like that will swing out in front of you and do damage to you, or these battering rams will come down, or these swinging blades will come down and slice you in half, and that can do damage, and it can kill you. And your followers, unfortunately, can be a bit annoying, and they will walk into it and set it off. So watch out for those. And watch out for your followers, because sometimes they're a bit idiots. So we got some more guys, more bad guys up here. I'm actually going to do some conjuring. Conjure up the familiar. Or try to. Good doggy. And leveled up again. Awesome sauce. Let's see. Let's do. Or do health now. Another thing with leveling up, when your stats are low, like I got a magic of 75 and a health of 61 right now, you can use that to. You can use your leveling up to increase your stats to full power. So if you level up in the middle of combat, for instance, and you're like it's a very bad combat, you can use it to sort of heal yourself. Sort of a cheap man's way of healing yourself. So I'm going to spend this perk point. Let's see. Novice Destruction spells. Let's do Novice Destruction. And the next we're going to do one-handed weapons. And then after that, light armor. That's how we'll do the setup. Do some looting real quick. Do they have anything useful? Arrows. Arrows, like I said, you always find an arrow, take the arrow. Bow. My bow, this bow's a bit better than what I've got, so I'm going to take it and I'll put it as a favorite. Nord arrows are 10. Iron arrows are 8. Steel arrows, of course, are also 10. But I got more Nord arrows, and I got 40 iron arrows. Like I said, you can sell those arrows, especially the useless ones. So those iron arrows, they're very numerous, and they're like a gold a piece. Most arrows average between 1 gold and 5 gold. But if you get a whole bunch of them, that can add up. Now you basically run through here, pull the chain real quick, otherwise your companion is going to take some damage. Now you heard my dog die. So he disappeared. And you can see that he's carrying the torch. It's actually dark enough to where he needs the light. So now he's providing the light for you. Another thing, look out for these little pots hanging from the ground. I'll show you what happens when you accidentally, shoot it. Just use a spell. Real quick blast. Boom! It's filled with oil, it falls down to the ground, and it'll cause fire. Now a lot of times there's like oil traps all over the ground, and I think it's this one where you run into it. But if they have those little pots above the oil trap. You can shoot the pot down, especially if there's bad guys in the oil traps. It causes massive explosion. It's really quite fun to do. I think it's in this dungeon where I see the first one like that. Now this guy's a bit tough. He's a bit bang. Well, maybe not. Spoke too soon, I guess. Yeah, it is this one. So, come on, wake up. I know how to wake him up. There's another thing, usefulness with bows is you can cause a distraction. I should use this technique again a little later. Wake him up, and then you can just boom, dead. Now there's others back there. He's taking damage. See? See how that works? There's at least 3, maybe 4 in that area. Now the other 2 are a bit far away. For him to come into the oil in time. But we got him anyways. Soul gems, like I said, you see a soul gem, get it. We'll get to that a little bit later, why you need to get that. Oh yeah, I did favorite the axe I was using. I still got the mace favorited. I want to use the axe. Where did I put the axe? It's right in front of me. Gold, 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 gold. Always make sure they got gold. You never have enough money. It always seems like that. It's like, oh, that thing looks cool. I want that. Oh, I don't have enough. No! Alright, moving on, moving on, moving on, moving on. This video is getting pretty long. So I think we're going to end it right when we get out of the dungeon. Great. Gold or chalcum ingot. Now these are items that you can use to make armor, make weapons, that sort of thing. So you see the ingots or even ore, take them if you want to build the cool stuff. Chest gold, minor stamina potion. What was my difficulty? I think I set my difficulty to apprentice. What I set it to. Depending on your difficulty, it can also change my adept. You know, you can change the items that are that you can find and loot. All right, let's continue on here. Troll skull. Oh yes, this is one of the first, well not the first spot where you can do mining, but this is the first one that I'm going to talk about. Alright, you can find certain areas that have what are called veins. This is an iron ore vein. Now there are mods out there that will make these a little bit more prominent to see. Okay, in order to mine something, what you need is a pickaxe. Luckily there's one right here. Now all you have to have, you don't even have to have the thing equipped, you just have to have it in your inventory. A pickaxe in your inventory. You can equip it, but as you can see, it doesn't do a lot of damage at all. Just have it in your inventory, and when you find a vein of some sort, just go up to it, click on it, and you can start mining it. Now there are little tips and tricks on how to try to get more out of this vein before it is spent. Typically, if you just let yourself go, you'll get 3 ores or 2. It depends, really. And sometimes you'll get like a gem too, depending on what you're mining. Now, this vein will regenerate itself over time. I'm not sure how long of a time. I think it might be dependent on. It might just be a flat time, or it might just be dependent on what type of vein it is. I mean, like iron ore veins might regenerate quicker than, say, quicksilver veins. Also, you got little things you can harvest off the side of the road, like glowing mushrooms here. You know, glowing mushroom added. So that's basically it's a potion ingredient. So, not potions. Food? No, it's ingredients. That's it. Glowing mushroom. So you don't know what it does. So one of the ways you can figure it out is just to eat it. Oh, resist shock discovered from glowing mushroom. Okay. So glowing mushrooms is one of the ingredients in resist shock potions. Moving on. Chest here. Let's see what's in the chest. Gold and another scroll of fireball. Let's use that because there's something coming up. Scrolls. It's some kind of something. Put that there. I like fireball. It just looks cool. So I'm going to have my dude. No, I need him because it might be something really tough. We're going to do a quick save because I might be a little concerned about what's up here. It's either a Draugr or a troll. If it's a troll, it's just a Draugr. Okay. Trolls are tough. Fireball is an area effect spell, so watch. Boom! I love fireballs. So I'll go back to flames now. Fireball won't get unlocked in stores until your destruction magic gets up to a certain point. I think once you're in a depth level or something like that. Now you can crawl down there and see what's down there. There's not really worth it. We're just going to continue on. Search for Draugr. Bone meal. As you can see, damage stamina. You can eat it, but it's not going to give you more insight into what bone meal does. Now there are lists that you can find online that will tell you what you can make out of bone meal. Or in game guides. You can look in the game guides too. Gold. Sometimes if your difficulty is high enough, or if your level is high enough, you come here and there's like an ice troll. Now trolls are tough, but they're weak to fire attacks. So just remember that. And we will run into a troll eventually, and those things at low levels are annoying as heck. I hate trolls. I really hate trolls more than the frostbite spiders. They're just creepy. The frostbite spiders are creepy, but the trolls are just a pain. Now this is a relentless Draugr. Now this one's a bit tougher. It's more of a higher level Draugr. More like a lieutenant type. Thinking about it. You see, my health is a little bit low. But it should be fine because we're not running into. I don't think we're running into enemies anytime soon. I don't think. Not for a little bit, I think. Although I might be wrong. Yeah, because I. Oh no, we do have some. So let me take some potions. Take some potions real quick. Take some potions. Okay, we should be fine.
Don't like the looks of this.
Yeah, I don't either. Boom. Okay, Draugr. Ah, die! Ooh, good job, Faendal. Now with this, wait, and fire. Boom! I got him. As you see, the pots were hanging over the oil slick right there. Now there is another character up there. I'm waiting for the fire to come out. He's not going to come down into the fire, so you got to go up there and hunt him down. I'm just going to go for now. I like the little touch that they do. Is like set the landscape on fire. Well, it burns for a little bit. That's it. Now sometimes these little things, little pots over the oil slick, the pot will be connected to a trip plate. So you'll trip the plate and it'll disengage the pot, bringing it down and setting the oil on fire. This is not the case right now, but just remember, watch out for those trip plates when you're going through these dungeons, because it is really embarrassing if you hit a trip plate and you die because of your own stupidity. Okay, now we're coming up on one of these Nordic puzzle doors. Okay. Now the only way to open these Nordic puzzle doors is with dragon claws. Now it's got a combination. Basically, you hit the rings, try to figure out the combination. Okay, but I mean, you can do the math. There's three different symbols and 3 different rows, so you can do the math to figure it out. Okay, what the likelihood of the combination is, or you can look on the Dragon Claw, which you'll usually you'll find in the dungeon that you're in. So make sure you look everywhere, because if you find a puzzle door and you don't have the appropriate Dragon Claw, you gotta go back and look for the Dragon Claw. It's somewhere. Usually it's in the dungeon. Occasionally you might find it out in the world somewhere, but most of the time it's in the dungeon. So your Dragon Claw is under the miscellaneous portion, and it's the Golden Claw. And on the Dragon Claws is actually the combination. Okay? So you look on the paw of the Dragon Claw, and this is the combination. It's bear, moth, owl. Okay? Bear, moth, owl. So you find the bear on the top. You set the bear. There's the bear. Go to moth. And you go to owl. Okay. And then you just activate the keyhole. That's where you place the Dragon Claw into the keyhole, and you're good. Opens the door for you. Yay! Huzzah! I did it. And the door opens on its own. Amazing craftsmanship. This thing's probably been down here for thousands of years, and the gears still work. Now you're coming up in your final boss fight for this level. I kind of like some of their the followers' reactions to certain places. Maybe you'll say it.
Wow. Would you look at that?
It is rather impressive. They have improved the graphics quite a bit, especially with the water. It seems the water looks more clearer, I guess you can say, although it still doesn't look like it flows quite right. Like, look where it's coming out of right there. Where is that coming from? Oh well. Nobody's perfect. Alright, so this right here is something interesting. But right now we're going to go over here because I think there, if I remember correctly, there is a treasure chest over here. I can't remember. Was there? I don't know. This is what's called a dragon wall. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about what the dragon walls are in a second. But as soon as I walk up to it, we're about to get attacked. Now, you'll find these dragon walls like all over Skyrim. Inside dungeons, inside castles, sometimes outside. Alright? A lot of times if you see a dragon circling around up in the sky, it's usually they're hanging out near a dragon wall. Now, these dragon walls have dragon words on them. Now, they will be one piece of a dragon shout, which you'll learn about a little bit later. You see a dragon wall, go to the dragon wall. No matter what. If you find the dragon wall, walk up to it like this. And basically you learn the word of power. Force. An unrelenting force. That's your first piece of the dragon shout, unrelenting force. Okay? And we'll get into dragon shouts a little bit more when we get up to the Greybeards. But we're about to get attacked by the boss of the dungeon. Who is a Draugr Overlord. Now they do have shouts. He used a dragon shout. Now he did have a shout. A lot of dragon walls also have treasure chests right next to it. In fact, almost all the time they do. Either right next to it or nearby. That usually has a useful item. Now in this case it's not so much in the chest, it's actually in the possession of the Draugr you just killed. Now here's another spell that we don't have that we will learn. Boom, useful, thank you. And let's see what he has. I think he just has that sword. That would be interesting. Now this is the item that the Jarl is going to have you go out for. So you got it now. Take it. Alright? Because he's say, I need you to go find this thing. And if you say, oh, you mean this thing? And it's like, oh, you have it! Oh, surprising. Makes it a little bit of an awkward conversation. Saying, well, skip the iron shield. Like I said, I don't use shields. Gold, steel arrow, and a one-handed sword. Now, this is an enchanted item. Now, remember I was saying when you find soul stones, take the soul stones, because you need the soul stones in order to recharge these enchanted items, especially weapons. Now, as you use these enchanted weapons, their energy bar goes down every time you use it, such as you see the energy bar down there below the description. So this one says target takes 5 points of frost damage to health and stamina. So it's a bit useful. It does a little bit less damage than the weapon that I currently have, but that's okay. Usually when you enchant an item, their damage value goes down, but you make up for it if it's a damage type enchantment. So I'm going to actually equip that, so I can remember that I have it. Actually, I'm going to favorite it. We're going to unfavorite the war axe. So you can see it's now equipped. And we're continuing on to leave the dungeon. Now, most dungeons, and I say most because I believe there are a couple where you actually have to go back out the entrance. Most dungeons will have like a secret door out the back from the dungeon boss. So you don't have to go all the way back through the dungeon to get out again. Alright? They'll always usually have a secret door. You just got to find the secret door to leave the dungeon. And a lot of times it'll take you to a passage that will drop you off back at the entrance to the dungeon. Sometimes it'll take you down a passage to an alternate exit that you can't normally get to, because it's like on top of a cliff or something like that, which is the case in this dungeon here. It'll drop you off at a cliff, and basically you gotta drop down here. Even if you could get up there on the other side of this, you can't get in through here because there's this little drop off here. A chest, what has it got? Just gold. Now here, it looks like a little altar here, and I never really wanted to take it because it seems rather sacrilegious, even if it is possibly demonic. So I just don't want to push my luck, you know. So we're going to come out here and come back out to the map, the world map. Malakath, Daedric Prince of Curses. Alright, so we're going to end it here, this installment here of the Dragon Claw. I'm going to call it the Dragon Claw. Recovering the Dragon Claw. No, you know what? I'm going to call it Recovering the Dragonstone. What is that? Enchanter's Potion. I never noticed that here before. I'm going to call it Recovering the Dragonstone. That's what we're going to call it. Alright. Have a good day. Hopefully this recorded. I hope it did.